Live from Gulfstream Park in South Florida, this is a special edition of Racing Across America with Seth Merrow.
To Racing Across America live from Gulfstream, and look who we have sitting with us, our old Capital OTB colleague, and now ensconced down here at Gulfstream Park. You see him pregame, you see him paddock commentary as well, Brian Nadeau. Good morning, Brian.
Morning, Seth. Happy Fountain of Youth Day. Good to see you and Shannon and Danny down here enjoying some good weather.
And I have to ask on that, the weather, and now you've been down here for a while. It was a few years ago. I was telling the story. This was over on the West Coast, but I was down here for a couple of weeks, and I'm out at the beach in my bathing suit and whatnot. And it was, I don't know, it was maybe 68 or something. It wasn't. And somebody walked by me with a parka. Have you gotten to that point yet where
I'm a huge baby? If it's like 64, 65, I'm like, well, this is not any good at all. And I feel bad. I laugh, but I do feel bad for the vacationers that are down here, and it's like, this is the week they're down here and it's 65 degrees and it might be raining or it's 57 and you still have to go to the beach. And I kind of get a kick out of it. You still have to go. This is great. No,
there's
kind of an
stinks. There's kind of an obligation. That said, the weather's nice today. It's the sun's popping out, and yesterday was gorgeous as well. Concourse Warrior, I thought, looked really good yesterday.
Yeah, he really did. 84 Buyer, I thought. I was shocked about that, a little slow, but he did. Shug's got a nice horse. He's got a real two-turn horse too, 9 furlong, mile and a quarter, mile. Well, I was gonna say mile and a half, but that doesn't matter anymore. Kind of horse, and he was impressive yesterday. I mean, he, Safi's horse didn't really run that well, Merit. So I think the verdict's out on what was in there and what he beat. I'm assuming we get to see him in the Curlin Florida Derby. Yeah. He'll have to step up quite a bit, but yeah, Shug's got a runner. Don Adams got a lot of nice 3-year-olds. Cortland Farms got a lot of nice 3-year-olds this year.
And let's just a little overview of today. Really nice card. We're going to take a look and just kind of zip through a Rainbow Six and give some thoughts there. But overall, what are you thinking? And for folks, we've mentioned it already a couple times today. Number of pick 4s. You got 3 pick 5s today. Yeah. It looks like a fun day and a fun wagering day.
It's a phenomenal day of racing. Even we were talking about this in the office yesterday, Ronnie and Ed Gray. Even before I was in racing, working in racing, this was always my favorite day of the year. And listen, Curlin Florida Derby Day is going to be awesome as well, 4 weeks from today. But I think today is the day for the better, for the racing fan. These races, you've looked at them and you've figured them all out. They are phenomenal. They're so deep, so competitive. And I feel like the gang is all here when we get to Curlin Florida Derby Day. Sometimes outfits go, Keeneland's right about to open and things like that. Today, we're the only game in town, and they're going to bet. They're going to fire hard. These pools, you mentioned all the horizontals, the picks, the 4s and the 5s. They're going to be massive. The late pick 5 should be over $2 million. So it's a lot of fun, not only for the fan, but of course the better.
And hopefully we all make some money today so we can put together a little ticket for tomorrow. Boy. Rainbow Six with the mandatory tomorrow.
My goodness, I've got 10 million. That's my number tomorrow. They're saying 6 and no way 10 because they're going to bet today. I think the pool today is estimated at 1.5. They'll pass that today. And that's going to leave, it could leave 1.5 in the kitty for tomorrow. And what's going on tomorrow other than us? Nothing.
Yeah.
Really.
It's good. So it's going to be a fun weekend down here, highlighted by Fountain of Youth card. And as I say, we'll take a look at this Rainbow Six sequence, which kicks off with the Devona Dale race number 9, the 2-year-old fillies, 3-year-old fillies. And again, the highlight of the day, the 3-year-old males in the Fountain of Youth. This is the filly side of things, headed on hopefully for these horses to Kentucky Oaks a little bit later on. And then Alabama up in our neck of the woods. We'll see how that works out for some of these. But certainly we have a couple of good ones in here with Leslie's Rose and Just FYI. I tilted towards Leslie's Rose, and I think on the recency, I have a feeling a lot of people are going for her. Fiona's Magic is maybe a little bit intriguing as well. What did you see in the Devona Dale?
I got to be honest with you, Seth. I thought long and hard about making Leslie's Rose the favorite in this race. And then I said, you know what? You got a Breeders' Cup winner, you got a champion, you got an undefeated 3-year-old filly. And Just FYI, that's great. you know, you're a buyer guy, you look at the thoroughgraphs. Rose is so much faster, so much faster. Just FYI, is slow. Leslie's Rose is running 4s and 5s. Now she's got to step up and she's got to prove that she can be a graded stakes kind of filly, but she's going to catch a champion at the right time, right? I mean, we haven't seen Just FYI since the Breeders' Cup. Bill Mott's on record saying, listen, I got to get her started somewhere, and that we're all, you know, we're amped that that's today at Gulfstream Park. But boy, if you're ever going to try to beat her, it's today. And I think Leslie's Rose is, I'm going to single her to kick off the Rainbow Six, because I don't really think it does. I say this a lot on the show. I don't really think it does the betting public any great favors when you have two favorites and you just use them both. You know, I think you have to have an opinion. Maybe if you have backup tickets, that's where you get your Just FYI. But I'm just going to single Leslie's Rose right off the rip because I think she's just faster.
Yeah, and you alluded to it. We should talk to you because I don't think we've talked to you at all, either by phone, but certainly when we had you live doing the morning line down here now on a day like this, it has to be a chore. 14 race card morning line, and as you say, a situation like that with the 2-year-old champion and the horse from Pletcher with some recency, you made 1-7 to 5 and 1-8 to 5. But those decisions, I'm sure you kind of have to sit there for a while and just really stew on that kind of a situation.
Yeah, you kind of do, because I don't want to disrespect anybody else in the race. The gap to whoever you might think is going to be next up is a big one. So you can kind of see it in the prices there. The 7 to 5, 8 to 5, and then everybody else is blown out a little bit.
The very one,
which is correct, apparently.
Exactly. We said that earlier on the handicappers report. The 10th race this afternoon, mile and an eighth on the mile and 3/8, excuse me, on the turf. I'm going to take a little shot with Anatolian. And again, these turf races this afternoon are very competitive. I think you can play around and have a little bit of fun. Our Callie Kim, interesting. Sister Luann, but what did you see in the very one?
I saw the tactical speed of Sister Luann. If you're not familiar with Gulfstream, if you're not familiar with the turf course, it's going to be fast. It's going to be firm today. You better be close. Races don't fall apart on the turf. Doesn't matter how fast they go. Horses just keep going. And I think you need to be close. And I think that's Sister Luann. She ran pretty well, all things considered, at 43 to 1 in the Pegasus filly mare turf. And she's got the tactical speed, whereas a Cairo Consort's got no speed at all. I don't really think she's gotten any better since she was really good at 3. She seems kind of like she's stuck in neutral. So I like Sister Luann in this spot. Our Callie Kim, certainly. She's kind of the house horse in that we know she has no worries about the distance. That could be a little stumbling block for certainly Sister Luann and also Cairo Consort. Just because they're running longer and Cairo Consort closes doesn't mean they're going to keep running and closing at this trip. So I like Sister Luann, and I think our Callie Kim is certainly the horse to beat.
All right, let's move on. Race number 11, the Gulfstream Park Mile Grade 2 event. And again, as the name suggests, the one-turn mile. To me, it was between Steel Sunshine and Tumbarumba. I went with Steel Sunshine off the performance last time. I'll look for them. I say it a lot of times, we get clever and try to switch things up. I'm going to try to switch things up, but Tumbarumba is going to be tough. Wit is intriguing to me in here as well, but what did you see in the mile?
Yeah, when Wit popped up, I said, oh my goodness, Wit's still around? And then I looked, I said, he's only 5 and he's only run 13 times. Wit kind of seemed to turn into a turf horse. So I feel like Todd's just got to get him started somewhere. That's today. This is my one. I thought Tumbarumba kind of laid over this field, not only because I think he's good and still has upside. He's got speed, tactical speed. And unfortunately, we love Bobby DeBona around here. Steel Sunshine's got none of it. He always runs out of room. You know, he was flying last time. He was running on in the Harlan's Holiday. He's always closing, but against the good horses, he just never quite gets there. And I think the flow of the race today is a real problem for him. Now, maybe the lack of, a hellacious pace in here keeps him a little closer, because that would be beneficial for him. But I think Tumbarumba is going to be a little too much. The sleeper in here, and I don't know if he's good enough. I don't know if this is going to turn out to be a little too sharp for him. But your Miracolo is interesting for Antonio Sano, who's won the first race. He won't win the first race today, but he's won it Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday this week. Did you pick up on that? Yeah,
no, I didn't.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. Antonio's a good guy and he's a good trainer. This is a horse that's been routing 9 furlongs and farther. He's got some talent and he's got a little bit of tactical speed too. He could trip out in here. I don't know if it's going to turn out to be a little sharp for him, but I like Tumbarumba in this spot. Nothing, he's going to be a strong favorite. Brian Lynch has a phenomenal championship meet.
So Ansano, I'm assuming from what you said, doesn't have one in the first today.
He does not have a horse.
But
in the
maybe
first
his
race.
game plan is he just wins the first race he's in of the day.
In.
So I'm going to have I'm going to have to look this morning.
That.
Yeah, I'm going to have to check that out.
There you go.
The 12th today is the Canadian Turf, mile and a 16th on the grass. I debated off the layoff from the Casa Creed 4-star Dave to go against Emmanuel. I couldn't. I put him on top. Ice Chocolate, I think, is interesting. Turf King to me for Chad Brown, I think could be improved, being lately raced and coming back off the layoff. Your thoughts on the Canadian Turf?
I'm with you on Turf King. I got him in second. The one thing I'll say about Emmanuel, who's clearly the best horse. Emmanuel won this race last year with a prep. He didn't have a prep this year, so that's a little worrisome.
But the prep was a stake over at Tampa, which he won pretty easily, and that was off a leg.
Yeah, that's a good point. And Todd's going to have him ready. I don't think there's any doubt about that. There's no speed in here at all. So let's just hope Saratoga Flash breaks running and gets Brave at a good price. His only claim to fame is running crazy fast at Kentucky Downs. I don't know what that means, if it means anything at all here. But he's got speed. I don't see anyone running with him, Seth, and let's just try to get loose in here. The turf course can carry him. He gets Brave out there. He should be a big number, so I'm going to put him on top. I have Turf King's interesting because we see this time and time again with Chad Brown. He runs these kind of horses that you look at and you say, well, this horse can't. He's slow. Look at the Pegasus. So look at Atone's past performances. The horse that ran second was on Very Busy, who, if I had a fair betting odds line, would have been 50-1 in the race. He came in off, I think, like a 82 buyer or something like that, and he runs second. Chad has an innate ability to take these 3-year-olds that were okay, bring them back at 4, and they really blow up for him. And I think Turf King is scary in this spot. He hasn't even been on the turf since June. He hasn't been out since July 1st. And what's he do? He runs them in the Grade 3 Canadian against older horses. I think you better look out here. And he's a definite A and a must-use for me.
And the win, I went back and looked at the replay. The win in that stake up at Woodbine was a good-looking effort. So intriguing to me, certainly. 13th at Gulfstream is the Honey Fox. The ladies will be on the grass at a mile, and for me, I used the 7 on top for the flag. The Jimmy Toner runner hasn't been seen since Kentucky Downs, but certainly has run well throughout the career, and I think is interesting this afternoon. Expansive, lightly raced for Todd Pletcher. I could make a case there. Chili Flag, Walkathon. Your thoughts on the Honey Fox?
Well, my thoughts are there's a lot of speed in here in this particular race. You got your Expansive. Your top pick is going to go as well. There's plenty of speed in here. Safi got Candy Light last time, ran around the Tapeta in the first start for his barn, and she ran really, really well. She found her form again. She hadn't won since the Tropical Park Oaks here, off the turf Tropical Park Oaks. She's got okay turf form, and it looks like she's better now, and he's going to run her on turf for the first time, so I'm going to take a shot with her at a good price. Clearly Chili Flag is the horse to beat. She's 9-5 in here off the good run, the close 6 in the Pegasus. I don't know if I want her at a short number. You were trying to beat her, and I kind of tend to agree with that. But with that being said, she is the horse to beat. So those are the 2 I'm going to use. I'm against some other horses in here as well. Walkathon, no pun intended, but that's exactly what she did. At Tampa. She walked on the lead. Now she doesn't need the lead. Okay, I'll give her that. But Tampa is almost, Tampa could be even more speed conducive than our turf course. Horses routinely at Tampa fly early and don't come back. And I think she's up against it today. Be My Sunshine will be my other one for Safi and Ken Ramsey, because she's got a little bit of a tactical gear that will get her first run today.
You mentioned Irad and Chad with Chili Flag 9-5 on your morning line as the morning line odds maker, and I now have stolen from you because I'm thinking you coined this, but you can correct me if not. The Irad Ortiz tax. When you look at the tote board on an Irad Ortiz horse, and in the morning line, you have to figure him into your mix.
Yeah, you have to. It drives me crazy because I can't figure it out. Sometimes they bet him, and other times they don't. I made him I made him 5-2 one day on a horse that won and paid was 7-1. I was like, I can't get this guy right. But Irad could show up in the paddock with a horse with 3 legs and he would be 9-2. It's remarkable. I circle Irad and I circle Paco. Those are the 2 guys that I think attract betting attention more so than anyone else. But Irad is so far above on the top of that list. You have to factor it in.
Yeah, as I say, I've stolen it. The Irad Ortiz tax. I like that because up in New York, definitely.
Oh boy, yeah,
it takes a lot of action. All right, the highlight of the day scheduled to go off at about 6:10 this evening. Mile and a 16th, Grade 2, Fountain of Youth, $400,000 up for grabs. I couldn't get past Locked. I think. Between Locked and Dornock, I think Locked is the one I want to tilt towards. But Real Macho, to me, off of that win last time, did have a real pace to shoot at. But I thought it was a nice performance. And you pointed me to Rohan Creighton, so we did get a nice little interview with him. And he seemed to have a little bit of confidence. Tyler talked to him as well. He seemed very happy with that performance. And we'll show it later on when we show those interviews. That was a nice performance by Real Macho. But your thoughts on the Fountain of Youth?
It's a fascinating race, isn't it? Because you've got the house horses and Dornock and Lock just getting started. They don't have to win. I don't want to say they don't care about winning, but this is not the goal today. There's no doubt about that. And then you got the up-and-comers of the Speakeasy and Victory Avenue who ran 1-2 in a wildly fast maiden special weight on Pegasus Day. You got Real Macho who ran down Born Noble, who's a immensely talented horse for Todd Pletcher. So there's a lot going on, and you got the short stretch finish line today. I think that plays against your horse quite a bit. Locked. I know he's won a short stretch finish line race at Keeneland. I think he's in a tough spot today. The fact that Speakeasy didn't run yesterday and runs today now means there's nothing free up front. They're going to be flying in here. If you notice, I actually made Victory Avenue a lower price than Speakeasy, even though Speakeasy beat Victory Avenue last time. They love to bet these Delgado horses. Dornock is a full brother to last year's Derby winner, Mage. He's my pick. I don't love him. I don't love the race in terms of having a strong opinion, but Dornock is my pick in here. I think at the end of the day, he's probably the best 2-turn horse. Danny Gargan's kind of hinted that maybe we're not fully cranked today.
That's what made me shy away a little bit.
I think probably if I had to do it over again, I might have made this everybody a little tighter. I think I'm going to tweet out an adjusted line because Merritt is out. Merritt ran yesterday, and I'm going to lower Victory Avenue and Speakeasy just a peg 7-2 and 4-1. I picked Dornock. The one thing I'm playing against is Locked. I know he didn't miss a lot of time, but he wasn't able to run in the Sam Davis. And I just feel like his running style at this configuration today,
which is a great point.
Yeah, little up against it. Yeah. If you're not familiar with this race, go back and watch some Fountain of Youths on YouTube or what have you. Promises Fulfilled won this race. I mean, he was not. Promises Fulfilled was not a 2-turn horse, but what happens is speed horses get to the far turn, you come off the turn, and the finish line is right in front of you, and it really plays against stalkers that don't have the tactical speed to get to be close early. And I got to be honest with you, Seth, it wouldn't shock me at all if Speakeasy and Victory Avenue are 3 clear on the far turn and they just run to the wire together.
I definitely think they're going to be out there around the first turn into the backstretch.
They're going to be flying.
Yeah. So it is a fun edition of the Fountain of Youth that will wrap things up, and looking forward to it. Happy you stopped by, and again, always appreciate looking up and seeing you guys doing the pregame and the paddock commentary, and folks can tune in and watch you all day today. Samantha Perry, I assume, is going to be back in the mix because I saw her yesterday.
You got her.
And it was, again, I said, and we'll see the Ron interview a little bit later on, but I said, when I came in, I said, I was really happy to see Ron come back a few weeks ago, as is everybody. So fun to see you guys, and have a great afternoon.
Yeah, my Uber driver, Ron Nicoletti, got me here early this morning. We were able to go on early. Man, it's so good to see Ron. Love that guy. And he looks great. He's feeling good, and he's back doing his thing. And sitting next to him up here is a real privilege. So pretty cool to
Yeah.
have him here on. Well, we came back on Pegasus weekend and Fountain of Youth now, and what a day! It's great to see all you guys down here and everybody back home. See, I'm sure you yourself see so many Saratoga people.
I said earlier, it's funny to walk around this facility. I probably get stopped as much here as I get stopped up in Saratoga.
Yeah.
People like, LTB, hey, what's it?
Yeah. I think this is the weekend. My guys and gals from Saratoga have always circled this weekend because once you hit April, the weather's turning a little bit up there. But I feel like this is the weekend.
Yeah.
Just you see so many Saratoga people that we know and love down here for this weekend because you come down here and then when you get back home you can get, it's kind of turning a little bit and there's a little bit of a light at the end of the tunnel. So great to see you guys, Shannon and Danny, and good to have you down here, buddy.
Well, we're happy to be here and happy that you stopped in this morning. And again, folks can check you out with the early post time today, 11:15 post time. So you guys will jump on pregame show in just about an hour, I think. We'll have things wrapped up and we'll have you guys in here on the set with your regular day. So appreciate it. And we'll head to a break now. When we come back from the break, we have some Tyler Gaffalione, Rohan Crichton, Junior Alvarado. We talked a little bit about Senior Bus. How about that? Senior Bus.
That was
$20 million.
That was a phenomenal story. The winter I was at Fairgrounds was when Todd Fincher brought him over to the Risen Star, and he was 2 for 2. The Risen Star, and he was 2 for 2. And he was the hot horse, and it just kind of went awry, and then he got hurt, and then he was gone. The job he's done to now literally be probably the best handicap horse in the country. And who's better than Junior Alvarado? What a guy! Like if you can't root for Junior Alvarado, you've got problems.
The interview is fun.
We love him.
Talking about that one, and Todd Fincher, a guy who. Doing what we do, I think we're familiar with him in the Southwest as a high percentage guy, but otherwise, the East Coast kind of floated under the radar. But Senior Busco has changed that certainly. All right, Brian, appreciate it. We'll head to a break. When we come back, we'll fire up some of the pre-taped interviews. Stay tuned.
And they're off in the Pegasus World Cup. They're off in the Fountain of Youth Stakes. And they're off in the Curlin Florida Derby. Forte wins. White Aborio almost home.
And Nyquist is still unbeaten. Orb and John Velasquez have won the Florida Derby.
Barbaro wins.
And there you have it. Northern Dancer will be the winner of the Florida Derby.
Sometimes it pays to go with the flow, to check your worries at the door, to reconnect with your crew, to follow the thrills and the flavor, to roll with it and see where it takes you, to enjoy every minute to its fullest, and to dance like there's no tomorrow. You can do that here at Rivers Casino and Resort Schenectady, where the good times flow.
Welcome back. Thanks to Brian Nadeau for stopping in. As promised, we have some tape pieces. We'll have a couple before we wrap things up, but with satellite time and whatnot, we're going to have to wrap things up at about 9:30, and I think we'll still have some of our taped interviews to go. So stay tuned. We'll get to all of them. Have some Junior Alvarado, Ron Nicoletti. We talked to him, Tyler Gaffalione, Rohan Crichton, and we got caught up with Mike Welsch as well. So you'll see all of them. But as I say, we're going to wrap at 9:30. But in the meantime, we'll have a couple here in the contained portion of the show. And first up, we will see Junior Alvarado. We caught up with him a couple of days ago outside the Jocks Room. And again, I knew I had to talk to him after last weekend. Goes over to Saudi Arabia, $20 million victory on Senior Buscador in the Saudi Cup. So up next, Junior Alvarado. Heading into the big weekend.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, got luck today for Mr. Mott. We've been a pretty good team and still still flying very high from the win in the Saudi.
And that's what I wanted to talk to you about. Senior Buscador last weekend in the Saudi Cup.
Pressure. Ushbatasoro from a mile back continues to stay on. Also staying on strongly is Senor Buscador. Out in front, Saudi crowd with 150 meters to last. Still has the lead. National Treasure Ushbatasoro late on the scene and right down the outside. Senor Buscador. The lead is taken by Ushbatasoro, but right on the line, Senor Buscador might have tipped him out.
It was fun for us to watch a big international race like that, have American entrants to root for, and Senior Buscador, the way he runs coming down the stretch. Just talk a little bit about the race and coming down the stretch and the big stretch kick.
I was very happy, turning from home. I knew I had made a lot of ground. He was so far back, but that's the way he runs. I was hoping, but by the time I started asking him, he was there for me, and I mean he did. Like right probably by the 8th pole. I can feel he's still coming. At that point, I thought, I think I'm going to finish third, which I thought it could be still pretty good, a good third in the big race. But like I said, he kept fighting on, and he kept trying his heart out there, and he eventually did put his nose right at the wire.
Talk a little bit about, because he's got that come from behind style. You wound up second in the Pegasus, second in the Cigar Mile, but with that big closing kick, what kind of a challenge is that for a jockey with a horse that comes from out of the clouds like that?
There's two things that you always will hope. First, you want to hope for a good pace that can help for the horses in front to kind of come back a little bit to you, so he doesn't have to make that much ground. And the second part, is by the time you start asking him, you start picking it up. You want to make sure you don't check him, or you don't stop his momentum once you're getting going. And that was my big challenge. By the 3 pole, I kind of start picking it up a little bit. Then I got Ushbatasoro, who got right next to me right there, and he didn't like to be in that spot right there. So I had to kind of regroup again with my horse and let him go first, and then take kind of like the second jump, which probably got me a little worried, when I was by the 8 pole, because I knew he kind of got the jump on me, nothing that I could really do because my horse didn't want to fight the spot of the 3 pole. But, like I said, he just was all hard down to the wire.
And what's the level of excitement at $20 million international race like that?
It's been unique so far for me. Nothing like it. It's just, top of the top for sure.
And I'm curious, what's the travel like over there? How long does it take to get over there?
Well, it took me from New York, took me 14 hours to get to Dubai, then 2 hours from Dubai to Saudi Arabia. Then time change. Thank God I went a little early, so he gave me a little time to kind of adjust a little bit with the time. And by the time of the day, I was with a high good energy. I was very positive. I was feeling great about my chances, and we ended up with the win.
I'm guessing the ride home was a lot happier.
100%. Yeah, I didn't rest, didn't sleep at all, but I was, in cloud nine.
I want to talk a little bit about Saturday, because you've got a nice entrant in there for the aforementioned Bill Mott. Just FYI, wound up to be the champion. You rode her last year as a 2-year-old. What are your expectations in Devona Dale coming up for just FYI?
It's a good race to start back. She had a little time off, well-deserved time off for her. And she's been working pretty good, been working very steady every week. And, we're hoping for a good race this Saturday. There's a couple other fillies in the race that look very live too. I would say it came out a little more tough than I would like to. But, when you're the best horse, I guess you have to run other best horses too, But like I said, she's been training very well. And like I said, we have our eyes on the Kentucky Oaks, and this is a good start for her.
Have you been on her in the morning?
I haven't been able to get in the morning. Billy Mullen like to stick with their own exercise riders. They've been doing the job with those horses, and he don't like to change anything, and I just leave him alone.
Well, congratulations last week, and good luck on the weekend.
Thank you very much.
Again, thanks and congratulations to Junior Alvarado on the crazy victory last week, Senior Buscador. And then also online, there's a nice video of his family watching the race that has kind of gone viral as well. You can check that out. All right. Also, again, I mentioned it earlier. Great to see Ron Nicoletti back down here. At some fun chatting it up with him over the past couple of days, but we had a chance to sit down and actually tape something of Ron looking at some of the stakes action for this afternoon as well. So up next, our friend Ron Nicoletti. Always happy to be joined by Ron Nicoletti when we make our visit to Gulfstream Park. Ron, happy to have you back at Gulfstream. We were all excited to see you, and you're looking good. You're you're feeling good. You're looking good.
Yeah, I was so happy to get back here. When I decided I was off for 9 months, when would I come back on Pegasus Day? The hardest day, but it was one of my goals to get back here. It's like my house, you know what I mean? So just love being back. I always love seeing you guys. And Found the Youth is my favorite week of the meet. Pegasus is a lot of fun, but Found the Youth, you see some good horses.
This is a great card. And also Sunday, there's a mandatory in the Rainbow.
Yeah, and they're expecting, Brian's swearing if it doesn't get hit, on Saturday and Sunday, on Sunday it'll be $10 million in the pool. I always guess wrong, so I'm going to go with Brian. Brian Nadeau.
They're estimating 6. Yeah, but it wouldn't surprise me to get up to.
Well, I don't know if you handicapped Sunday's card yet, but the last 2 races are 2 gigantic turf races, and it's a bear.
Which also, the bigger the fields, the bigger that pool size gets. All right. So, again, one of the reasons happy to see you back, because it's not a visit to Gulfstream without some selections from Ron Nicoletti. So let's jump in on a good Fountain of Youth card, and let's kick right off with the feature, the Fountain of Youth. I couldn't get past Lock. I mean, Dornoch, I don't know whether they're aiming for this specifically. I think Lock is going to be prime. The horse that I find interesting in here, though, is Real Macho off the big win last time. But what did you see in the Fountain of Youth?
Well, we're in agreement with Locke. I just thought that I was waiting. We had to wait all week to see if Speakeasy was going to run in this race. And I think that's part of the pace scenario that I was hoping for. And I think that Locke, like you do, sits the night tripping there. I got some concerns about Dornoch, too. I mean, he's got a great resume. But let's see if this is where they got him totally cranked. I've been very, very conservative with him, running him and then maybe run him next in the Florida Derby. So they're taking an easy road with him. I went with him. I had some interest in, the inside horse Speakeasy just because of that 100 buyer was the talk of the racetrack. And like I said, they made the decision, I think, on Thursday night or Friday morning, whenever it was, to run in this race, was entered in an allowance race on Friday. So they decided to go here, and that's what I was waiting on. And I'm like you, I think that Locke fits a really nice trip in here.
Yeah, and both he and Dornoch have the resumes that a good performance on Saturday propels them firmly into a Derby picture.
What did you do with the maiden here? Victory Avenue, that everybody seems to be talking about. Maiden comes off a monster race
right
there behind Speakeasy. So does this horse come back? The connections. They could have went in that allowance race that was scheduled on Friday, and they decided to go in the Fountain of Youth. So there's another angle that you might want to look at.
Yeah, no, it's an intriguing addition of the Fountain of Youth. One race earlier is the Honey Fox. You said you might have a clever idea in here. I'm taking a little shot. Talked to Mike Welch, and I was on the radio with him earlier, and he was kind of saying these turf races today, you can go in a number of different directions. That includes this race. I thought 4 the flag for Jimmy Toner was maybe a little bit interesting at 8-1. I had it 7, 6, 5, and 4. But what did you see in the Honey Fox?
I went with the 8 in here, and that's Mohawk Trail. It's 20-1 in the morning on. And this horse, last seen at Kentucky Downs, breaks from that outside post, closes 6, but he's only beat 3.5 lengths. That race turns out to be a pretty good race, produced a trio of next down winners. I see this horse sitting a perfect trip. I was looking for a price there. David Egan, he doesn't have that many mounts, but he's a good rider. Kelsey Downer trying to get off the duck. She usually has a fantastic meet here. I'm looking at a price in here at 20-1. So, I'm not saying this horse is an absolute lock, but I think you go back and look at this horse, sort of fits in here perfectly. Got a nice little resume. 2 starts back at Woodbine, wins a grade 3. They're going to totally ignore this stuff for all the other horses in this race. And because Kelsey Danner's, on the duck so far, but she's a good trainer, I think that she's going to do a good job in there. And that's my price horse.
Nothing wrong with the work coming in either. 46 flat bullet.
Yeah, that's another one. So just, you're looking for a price, and that's the one I'm giving out. And I'm, once again, I hit him every once in a while, but I love betting him. So we'll see how that goes.
We've said for years now, picking up your sheet on the website, looking for your long shot play, always worth taking an extra look at. All right, the Devona Dale, the 3-year-old boys in the Fountain of Youth, 3-year-old girls in the Devona Dale. Interested to see. A lot of folks, as I've been talking the past couple of days, taking a pop against just FYI. I am too. Leslie's Road with the Rose with the numbers and the recency. I think Into Champagne's interesting for Ian Wilkes, though. I have a 2, 3, 8, and 4. How'd you see it?
Well, I had just FYI on top of my ticket, but I could understand the appeal of Leslie's Rose. On paper, certainly looks way faster than just FYI. And I just think that performance last time out in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile from that post, and I just respect everything that Belmont does. And the last work, 102.1, he said it was a perfect setup. I interviewed him for the Saturday program, and he's high in the search. He thinks this horse is ready to run. So I'm going to stick with them. Of course, Leslie's Rose, if it wins the race, I would never single, just FYI. And a lot of people don't realize, I asked Belmont about this, just FYI is justified if you spell it out. And nobody seems to realize, great name for a horse.
Yeah, very good. And again, brings back the 2-year-old filly champ, part of the contingent that got him the Eclipse Award, deserved Eclipse Award last year. Really a fun card on Saturday. And again, Ron, it isn't a trip to Gulfstream without a visit on the TV set with Ron Nicoletti. Happy you're back.
I will see you at Saratoga this year.
And I was going to say, we got to get you back up because Ron stays with his cousin at, 10 Oaks that they didn't realize. 5 Oaks didn't realize.
They're not Oaks.
Late on there. one of our all-time best stories on the set up there. So we'll look for you this summer up at Saratoga as well. Thanks for this morning.
You got it.
Welcome back. And again, thanks to Ron Nicoletti. Ron, Brian, and Samantha will be right here in just about 45 minutes. They're going to kick things off their pregame show at 10:15. So you can tune in for that. And there will, of course, be, paddock commentary throughout the afternoon on the simulcast signal. You can watch them all afternoon long. So stay tuned for that. Breaking news via Dave Grenig. I saw it on Twitter just now. Locked and Victory Avenue scratched from the Fountain of Youth. So some big news there, certainly with Locked. And again, we'll see how that all shakes out as far as how things play out this afternoon. But again, according to what Dave tweeted out, he has a story coming up at Daily Racing Forum. So more information there. All right. Again, we have to move out because they're going to reset everything for their big Fountain of Youth Day programming here at Gulfstream. So we're going to wrap things up for 9:30 on Racing Across America. But we still have 3 taped interviews to go. So the guys up in Albany will play those after I wrap things up here. Tyler Gaffalione, check him out. Rohan Crichton as well. And Mike Welch from the Daily Racing Forum goes over some of the stakes action. So you'll still see all of those. They'll just fire them up in the control room up in Albany after I wrap up here. And I do want to wrap up here by first of all, thanking everybody at Gulfstream Park. When we come down, they're great. The hospitality they show us is second to none, and we always appreciate when we come down here and deal with the Gulfstream Park people here on the set. Dennis has taken care of us. A former New York guy, has been down here in Florida for a while now, and he does a great job for us out here on the set. Ben and the whole TV crew upstairs taking care of us as well, so we appreciate that on the TV side of things. Dave Joseph over in the press office taking care of us as well, and all the folks here at Gulfstream Park. Again, really appreciate their hospitality when we come down here, and it's been a lot of fun this weekend as well. Want to thank Shannon Donovan, Dan Hayes, Dino Cantonacci, Anthony Probst on the Capital O TV side of things. Great job up in Albany and down here. President John Signor, the board of directors who support our trips around OTB Live on the road. So thanks to them. Let me just alert you once again here at Gulfstream. Today, the kickoff is at 11:15. Our branches will open at 10:30. All the branches, including the race book, open at 10:30. Post time, 11:15. A number of pick 4s today, 3 pick 5s here at Gulfstream. Tomorrow, Rainbow 6 at Gulfstream is a mandatory. The pool should balloon up exponentially. That's tomorrow, Sunday, mandatory in the Rainbow. Today at the Clubhouse Racebook Play the Board contest as well. So if you want to come to the Racebook, you can have a little extra fun. Also, nighttime thoroughbreds available tonight here on the network and via OTB as well. All right, I am going to wrap it up. It is 9:30, time for me to step out. But again, thanks to everybody here at Gulfstream. Thanks to as I say, Dan and Shannon here, and Dino and Anthony up in the control room as well. It's been a lot of fun. Always is. Have some fun this afternoon. Let's all cash some tickets and have a great afternoon. We'll be back in the studio next week up in Albany, so we'll see you then.
Jockey Edgard Zayas went to work on merit to go after Born Noble, and these two speed off. They're 7 ahead of Real Macho, who tries to reap the spoils in third. Another 3 back to Piper's Factor, tamely backing away Azari's Magic as they run to the top of the stretch. Merritt doing everything he can to Born Noble on the top end, but Jockey Irad Ortiz Jr. and Born Noble still confidently handled. 3/4, 1:10-3. They're at the top of the stretch. Born Noble trying to put it away now. He's an 1/8 of a mile from home and 3 on top. Real Macho's running home down the center with Merritt back to third. They come past the 8th pole, Born Noble, shifting it a bit, but he's still well clear. Real Macho gaining good ground. 16th to go. Real Macho tries to catch Born Noble. Here comes Real Macho. He got him.
Talk a little bit about Real Macho. You were on board last time for the first time. And to me, looking at it, looked like a much improved effort. You hadn't ridden him before, but I thought it was a nice come from behind ride and run. Talk a little bit about his performance, your impression last time with the win.
You know, like you said, that was the first time I was able to get on him. I was very impressed with him that day. He's a big, strong colt. They've had very high hopes for him. The race before, it was kind of one of those races they didn't know what happened. He contacted my agent, said that the horse has been doing great, and he ran to his looks, and Rohan brought him into the race great. He ran. It was a very competitive field that day. Went pretty quick in front of us. It took a real racehorse time to get the job done, but he was very willing and a good gallop out, so I don't see 2 turns being an issue for him.
And as I say, it was a big stretch kick. When did you get the feel you had something going in that race?
You know, he got into a great rhythm approaching the half-mile point. When he switched sleeves going into the turn, just lengthened and just kind of kept building on that, and he gave me the confidence moving forward.
Seemed like an improved effort. Goes back to the mile and his 16th on Saturday. What are your thoughts?
Like I said, I love the 2 turns for him. It's a big, strong colt. Doesn't seem to get tired, and he's pretty tactical. He can put him behind horses. He takes dirt fine, so position doesn't seem to be an issue for him.
Very good. Good luck on Saturday. I just wanted to go back to last weekend that you were on Zeitlost on the trip to Oaklawn. Nice performance, fast horse.
Zeitlos is trying to get into the race now. She splits horses. Zeitlos 2 behind, Backyard Money off the turn, but Zeitlos is making a big move now. Zeitlos on the grandstand side just swarms those early leaders. Backyard Money's trying to move with her. Zeitlos, Backyard Money running the race of her life, but it's Zeitlos who has the head lead, and Zeitlos is America's newest stakes winner. Zeitlos, a picture of consistency, wins it under Tyler Gaffalione.
Give us your impressions. Had you ever ridden Zeitlos before?
No, actually, I've been trying to get on her for as long as I can remember, early summer, but it just never really worked out. I was thrilled when we got the opportunity, and she's a class filly. She seems like she's going to just keep improving. She's in a great barn. Steve's done a heck of a job with her, and really looking forward to the future with her.
Talk a little bit about that from the nuts and bolts. As a jockey, when you go out of town on a day like that, how do you work with your agent to get mounts? Besides, obviously, you're probably going in with one mount already in mind. How do you line up the rest of the day?
Like you said, you kind of start with a single horse in mind or one that you're going for, and then my agent does a great job. He's built plenty of connections through the years, and horsemen given us great opportunities. So just kind of build off of that and hope for the best.
Just give us an impression. How's your Gulfstream season been going so far?
It's been great. It's a little bit of a slow start. I took a vacation early, but things have been picking up. We're getting into Derby season, very exciting, and horses have been showing up for a very exciting part of the year. So all systems go.
With Rohan Crichton, he has Real Macho in the Fountain of Youth on Saturday. That was, I thought, a very solid neck win last time out. Now, the chart says got bumped. I didn't think the start was too much, but I did think a nice closing effort down the stretch. Your impression of the victory last time?
I thought he ran down a horse who ran enough to win. So that's always a good thing. You know, it showed that he had a real good kick, you know, up the lane. So, yeah, it was good. It was excellent.
26-1, so he surprised the betting public. Did he surprise you?
Somewhat. I when we were saddling him, I noticed he was a lot more focused. There's something in that 2-turn allowance race. He was unnerved inside. For some reason. I'm not going to make too many public excuses, but we took the blinkers off. I said it 5 or 6 times already that Javier jumped off that day and said, "Listen, don't hang your head." I would take the blinkers off because he was gazing in the blinkers the whole time. So we took the blinkers off, and I think it made a big difference.
Also lightly raced and clearly on the number and on the effort. That was an improved effort. Is he a horse, a 3-year-old who's on the improve?
I mean, every trainer is going to tell you that. I absolutely think so. Just his mannerisms in the morning suggest to me that win has given him something's gone on. Something's positive has happened with him, and I'm hoping you're going to see a horse who's able to track what looks like a good lively pace. And then if he kicks the way he kicked the last time, they're going to have to deal with him in the last furlong.
So you alluded to it already. 2 turns back was a little bit of a disappointment. Then at the 1 turn last time, got it done. We're 2 turns again on Saturday. Your thoughts on the stretch out again?
Well, the stretch out is no. I mean, his breeding, the way he goes suggests that the longer the better. I mean, everybody's going to say you've never won going 2 turns. Matter of fact, the one time you tried it, you ran poorly. Again, I saddled a horse who just was mentally not there. So the hope is that we have somebody who's figuring it out. It looks to me like he's figuring out the game.
And let me also ask you, you're partnered in with Dean Reeves. Were you part of the group that was at the Ocala sale to pick him up?
Well, I was. Dean bought in after his maiden win. So imagine how we feel when you have a new partner and he runs his first race, going 2 turns away there. I mean, I had sleepless nights, but we stuck to it. And again, Javier said, don't drop your head. This is not the same horse I worked in the morning, and he just, for some reason, he was just doing this. He was just running in one place, and he definitely ran a hell of a race the last time. Especially, Tyler told me at the 16th pole he got to another level. So we'll see.
Yeah, we talked to Tyler earlier, and he seemed to have some confidence coming out of the last race and going in. So we're wishing a lot of good luck on Saturday.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Happy to be joined now by Mike Welch, the Florida correspondent for the Daily Racing Form, other than Saratoga, when we're happy to see you upstate. But you're going to be up for a Belmont Stakes at Saratoga, I assume so.
Oh, yeah. Looking forward to that. I'll actually be there a couple of weeks ahead of time. I think there's going to be a lot of the Belmont horses are going to go up there to work rather than work back on the training track at Belmont. So I'm going to get up there early and try to get a good look at them for a couple of works before the big race.
But a big day in Florida on Saturday, highlighted by the Fountain of Youth on the 3-year-old side of things. I couldn't get past Lock, but Dornock obviously going to take a lot of action. They're the 2 that come in with the resume. I think Real Macho is very interesting, and I think everybody's excited to see what Speakeasy can do. Your thoughts on the Fountain of Youth?
Yeah, I think it's a fascinating race to try to sort out. There's a lot of question marks, pros and cons for all of these horses. I mean, you start with Lock. I mean, he looks like on paper probably the right one. He's the fastest one on numbers. But on the flip side, he did miss a scheduled start in the Sam Davis because he was sick, missed the work, missed some training. So, this time of year, especially coming off a layoff, there is some question of whether he's going to be 100% fit coming into this race, ready for his best effort. Todd seems pretty convinced that he's doing well enough that to overcome the fact that he lost a little training time. Same with Dornock, obviously been away for a while. Danny Gargan has come out as trainer and said, I'm not going to have him 100% crank for this one. I want him a little better in the next one, which is probably going to be the Florida Derby, and then even better, obviously, where the main goal is the Kentucky Derby. So if he's not up to 100% here also, he can come from off the pace, but his last 2 wins have been on the lead. I don't see him on the lead in here either, so he's going to have to try to rate and make a late run. So I was maybe a little bit against him. Of those 2, Lock I prefer, and Lock was my top pick. Then you go to Speakeasy and Victory Avenue, the 2 coming out of that big maiden race. What are they going to do? Are they going to move forward? Probably not off those huge numbers. Are they going to regress? How far? It's 2 turns. They've never been beyond 7/8 of a mile, so a lot of question marks there too. Both seem to be training very, very well. I see Speakeasy probably trying to go to the lead because he's on the rail. Victory Avenue has a ton of speed too. I'm guessing they're going to try to rate him and not send him to the lead like they did last time. But he is so fast, if he were to break, he can wind up in front too. And in between them is Nadeau Bro, who's also got speed. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out on the inside. Real Macho benefited from a huge pace scenario, win that allowance race. Could get the same setup again today, so I think you have to respect him as well. So I'm really looking forward to see how this plays out. I think it's a better watching race than betting race. There's just not a lot of value in too many questions unless maybe you take a shot with Real Macho or the maiden Victory Avenue. They'll probably be the biggest prices of that bunch.
All right, that's the 3-year-old boys, 3-year-old girls in the Devona Dale. And similarly, there's a couple of horses in here that will take plenty of action. Just FYI, the 2-year-old champ and Leslie's Rose, who has more of the recency for Todd Pletcher. I tilted towards the Pletcher horse. I think Into Champagne is also maybe a little bit interesting on the outside. Fiona's Magic. You talked on the radio this morning. We were on with Vic, and you mentioned Fiona's Magic was working with Frankie's Empire.
Yeah.
And I found that a little bit intriguing. But your thoughts on the Devona Dale?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how the bettors sort this out. You've got the 2-year-old champion coming back off a layoff, and you got Leslie's Rose, who's never been beyond 7/8 of a mile, but on numbers is a faster horse as far as the sheets go, buyers go. I think they're going to make Leslie's Rose the favorite in here, and with the same skepticism that I have as far as just FYI, whether she's going to be 100% cranked up off the bench, with her main goal being the Kentucky Oaks, 3 races down the line. So I picked Leslie's Rose. IRAD factor 2, always going to attract more money there. But a question, obviously, you've got to go a mile now, not stretching around 2 turns. This is 1 turn. But that was a pretty good horse that she beat last time, Gunsong, who extended her, made her work at 1-5. But Gunsong came back off of that and really flattered the race, came back and won a maiden race by 5 lengths. So I like Leslie's Rose. I think Fiona's Magic, too. She's got speed. Leslie's Rose has got speed. We have to see how that scenario plays out. But like I said, she worked extremely well. Into Champagne, too, coming off of a couple of sprints. She's going to show speed also. Her numbers are a little bit softer than Leslie's Rose and Fiona's Magic. So she's going to have to improve a lot more. It's going to be interesting to see how this one plays out, too. But I think it's going to be Leslie's Rose, a slight post-time favorite, even though she's facing the defending champ.
And finally, again, we were on the radio with Vic this morning, and the Here Comes the Bride for the 3-year-old fillies on the turf. You had kind of a clever idea in here. I went with Ozara. I was not clever, although Crown Imperial is my interesting play in there for John Ortiz, making the 3-year-old debut. I'm hoping this one comes back a little improved, and the workout seems to indicate that. So I'm going to play around a little bit with the 2 for a price, but you also had an interesting price play in here.
Yeah, I'm just going to take a shot with Time to Dazzle. This is strictly a workout play for me. This horse, nobody trained better than this horse over the Topeka track leading up to the race, her 2-year-old finale on December 15th, which she won easily. She won in a cakewalk. Could have won by 5 or 6 if Joe Bravo wanted to. She stepped up against the same bunch in the Ginger Brew and had about as bad a trip as a horse could possibly get. Was ranked, steadied many, many times, never had a chance. Still only got beat 8 lengths and finished in front of 3 others. So I'm going to give her one more chance. She came back on the Topeka and worked well, extremely well on February 16th. There is a lot of speed in the air. I'm hoping Joe can kind of get at a rate and relax, but not like last time where he just fought her all the way. But I think if she can settle down and run her best race, look, you go back on her form. She came from off the pace and won her debut on the turf at Woodbine at a 7-1. I think she might even be a bigger price in here. She could repeat that kind of race and get a clean run with all the speed in front of her. Might be a good spot for an upset on the card.
Very good, Mike. No big weekend like this, very busy. So we appreciate the time. Thanks.
My pleasure.
The championship meet running now through Florida Derby weekend, March 31st.
You're watching OTB TV, a service of Capital Off Track Betting.